Now, live from KUSI, this is Good Business San Diego. Sponsored by Wilsey Asset Management.
Hi, I'm Roy Roberts, and welcome to Good Business San Diego, where we're talking about the topics that are important to you, your home, your family, your health, and your money. And the following portion of Good Business San Diego is sponsored by Wilsey Asset Management. Today, Brent's helping us get a better understanding about artificial intelligence and why it's becoming more expensive. Yeah, if you could break this down in 4 minutes, you're doing something special.
It's a tough topic, so I'll try to get some things across to people. And what I want to talk about is that, first of all, there's a measurement of AI. It's called a token. Nothing to do with cryptocurrencies. It's called a token. That's how they're measuring how much AI you're using. But what is happening as technology advances, things get less expensive. Well, that is true. The cost of a token is declining. But what is happening is that to do these processes that we're doing, it takes a lot more tokens to do that. And that's the big key, it's taking more tokens.
And we're becoming more reliant on that the more that we use AI.
Yes, and let me explain. With AI, there's two basic attributes. You have what's known as inference, and that is what's called the analyzing the data, the make the predictions and the decisions and so forth. That's what that is. The expensive part is AI training. And that's where you have, if you do a search and you want something, it searches the entire web. Think about that, scans the entire web. And sometimes to get that one sentence answer, it has to write a little program on top of that. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you don't see.
So this is all about data usage.
It really is. It takes a lot of data to do that. And I talked about the tokens and how they're a measurement. Well, there's ways to understand this. Now, for your basic chatbot Q&A, that takes between 50 and 500 tokens. Okay, sounds pretty reasonable.
Not a whole lot of data.
Not a whole lot. Yeah. That short document sequence that maybe you want, now you're talking a little bit more. You're going to spend maybe between 200 and 6,000 tokens. We know that attorneys and paralegals, they love AI because there's a lot of work for them. Right. Well, when you do like a legal document analysis, now you're talking anywhere between 5,000 to 250,000 tokens. That's a lot of tokens you're talking about now to get done what they want to have done. And what takes the most, is what's called multi-step agent workflows. This can be anywhere between 100,000 tokens all the way up to 1 million tokens. So this is where it becomes very expensive. All these tokens is taking a lot. It's going to become expensive.
We are paying for that sophistication. Of course, a lot of these companies are paying for this upfront in terms of their investment into AI. So how are they recovering that? When does it get passed down to the consumer? When are we going to see that?
I mean, companies, like big companies, they've spent as much as $100 billion on this. The CFO of OpenAI, he said about 75% of the business comes from the consumer, who's spending about $25 a month. But there's different types of AI. There's this expensive AI called 5 nano. That's about, 10 cents per million tokens. But more advanced Nano 5 or GPT-5, that is $3.44 per million tokens, so 3,000% more. So there's a lot to it, and that's what's happening. The thing that I want to tell people is that you want to be careful, because if the consumer says, we're not going to pay the higher amount, yes, AI is the future, but as far as investing goes, we could see the AI companies start to come down somewhat because the consumer says, I'm not paying that much for it.
Right.
And you got to get the return on investment, and they may not get that, and that could cause some investments in AI not to do so well going forward.
Like anything on the open marketplace, it's supply and demand, who's going to be using it, what services we need. Yeah. And of course, we're just scratching the surface now, right?
We're just scratching the surface, and that's what we're kind of looking at, is that, is this going to work? And it will definitely work, but at what rate is it going to be working? Because when you look at investing, and so many people invest in so much AI, yes, I want to say again, it is the wave of the future. But it may slow down, and those investments you made may not do as well, because consumers not going to pay that much for it. We just don't want to do that.
Amazing. I still have not used ChatGPT, so I'm way behind the curve.
Go to Google. Gemini, very easy.
Okay. Thanks for the tip. Thanks, Brent. Appreciate it. The preceding portion of Good Business San Diego, sponsored by Wilsey Asset Management. We'll be right back.